Alright, gamers. Hello, and welcome back. Casual Gaming News. A decent amount to go over. Somehow, a lot happened. And we're gonna go through most of it, including the couple of chat picks that we missed last week. And there is a dev dub. It's a little tiny dev dub, but there's a dev dub in there. So we're gonna start off with a continuation of last week's Xbox news. Andy Robinson VGC, I'm proud of what we've built. So this is Sarah Bond's statement after the shakeup. Is it really a shakeup? I don't know. Let's go straight to what she said. Writing on LinkedIn, Bond said she decided now that the right time for me to take my next step, both professionally and personally, and shared praise for the incoming CEO, Sharma. So as we all know, Asha Sharma has taken the CEO, the CEO of Xbox Games role, with Matt Booty also being promoted, and Sarah Bond leaving completely, as well as Phil Spencer. I know there's a lot of news to take in today. I'm incredibly proud of what we've built together over the past 8+ years. PC and cloud gaming are growing faster than ever. Our next console is well underway, confirming new hardware. And together we've helped lay the foundation for a more open gaming platform that spans devices and reaches players around the world. When we announced our intention to acquire Activision Blizzard in 2022, I committed to helping lead Xbox through what would be a critical period of change. Over the past 4 years, we've navigated that moment together and positioned the business for what comes next. We took on some of the biggest challenges this organization has ever faced and did it as one team. With that, I've decided this is the right time for me to take my next step, both personally and professionally. We're living through a transformative technological era that will shape the next generation of our industry, and I'm energized by what's ahead. She felt that there's a unique opportunity for fresh eyes and new leadership to guide the team into the next chapter. She says, I've had the privilege of spending time with Asha over the last few weeks. No, thank you. Oh, we're in the wrong screen. Oopsies. Privilege of spending time with Asha over the last few weeks as we've planned for this transition, and I've seen firsthand her deep commitment to our players, developers, and brand. She brings deep technology and commerce experience, along with a strong track record of building and scaling platforms that the world uses. Xbox deserves this. I'm excited to see her lead the next chapter for our team. I'll remain on as special advisor to Asha to help ensure a smooth transition and set the organization up for continued success. And she thanks Phil Spencer for his mentorship and friendship, trust and support throughout her time on the team, and also Satya. So, nothing crazy, right? She's not gonna go scorched earth or anything, if there was anything to even go scorched earth about publicly, you know. There are some people who say that, I think there was another story saying that she was like difficult to work with and very demanding. But I mean, that's like any boss, right? Who knows what's true and what's not true? Maybe one day we'll know more. Probably not. But a little bit of follow-up on this. The co-founder of Xbox, had some choice words for the new regime, I guess. Andy Robinson VGC again. Xbox co-founder believes it's being sunsetted in favor of AI. Calls new CEO a palliative care doctor. Oh. Seamus Blackley, who left Microsoft in 2002 after launching the original Xbox, said that he believes Sharma's appointment over those with a background in video games indicates that Microsoft's gaming future will be dominated by generative AI, which we all know Asha Sharma came from as an executive for AI in Microsoft. Praised outgoing boss Phil Spencer, who he said had likely been worn out spending a long time managing the beast so that he could continue to try to do the right thing for games. Satya Nadella has made an incredible number of bets and invested an incredible amount of money and credibility in the transform model AI future, Blackley said. Xbox, like a lot of businesses that aren't the core AI business, is being sunsetted. They don't say that, but that's what's happening. I expect that the new CEO, Asha Sharma, her job is going to be a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night. Oh, brutal. It just seems really true. I imagine asking somebody if it made sense to put a major motion picture studio into the hands of somebody who didn't like movies, or a major record label into the hands of somebody who'd never seen a live show. Why would you do that? Well, you'd only do that if you're looking at the problem in a more abstract way. The natural consequence of the focus on AI is that AI abstracts every problem from the minds of the executives who believe in it. We're abstracting the problem of games as well. There's a core belief, and you can see it in what Satya said, that AI will subsume games like it will subsume everything. Whether you agree with generative AI, Microsoft is ushering all of its business units towards it, including gaming. That is in no way surprising. Would have been shocking if they had somebody in there in a meaningful role who was passionate about games, passionate about the creator-driven business of games, because it would be in direct conflict with everything else Microsoft is doing. So he's basically saying that these guys are here with very limited gaming background as the top heads of gaming because they've lost all hope in the gaming industry as it once was, and are now focusing on AI. Even though she did say no AI slop in games. She did say that several times. But this guy, again, he left a while ago. So he obviously he doesn't know exactly, but he does have probably more insider knowledge than we do. Right? We just have to wait and see. Man, at least we're getting a new console. Maybe. If they don't cancel it. Next up, Amazon shuts down more studios or games. Amazon shutting down another game. Former Lionhead devs King of Meat. Interrupts in VGC. Developed by UK-based Glowmade, which was founded by former Lionhead members, the co-op platformer launched for consoles and PC in October as a premium game, but seemingly struggled to find an audience, with Steam concurrence peaking at less than a few hundred players. On Monday, Amazon Games confirmed that King of Meat will shut down in April, with all players able to receive a refund for their purchases. Wow. I don't remember seeing anything about this game, honestly. Despite the creativity and innovation Glowmade brought to King of Meat, the game has unfortunately not found the audience we hoped for it. It said, as a result, we have made the difficult decision to conclude our investment in the game, and King of Meat servers will close April 9th, 2026. And I don't remember anything about this game, but they're not done yet. They're not done yet. They continue to cut. And you're up to VGC. Dropping driving game from Forza Horizon devs. Ugh. Maverick Games was founded in 2022 by several of the core team behind the Forza Horizon series, including creative director Mike Brown. As reported by the Game Business, Maverick's debut title is still in development, but it's now seeking a new publishing partner after Amazon parted company with the studio. Parted ways with the studio is what I assume, not parted company. In recent months, Amazon has significantly scaled back its games operation, ending most of its MMO projects, including New World, which will shut down next year, closure of King of Meat, and sold MOBA March of Giants to Ubisoft, Christoph Hartmann said last month. So, Amazon is still slashing the game stuff, just like Netflix was slashing the game stuff. And now Netflix doesn't even get the shows and movies that they were looking for, let alone the games. Speaking of publishers, is Nacon closing down? Nacon? Chris calling VGC. Nacon files for insolvency, says it's assessing all possible solutions to continue running. That's rough. The company announced that its majority shareholder, Big Ben Interactive, had failed to make the partial repayment of its bond loan to its bondholders due to an unexpected and late refusal by its banking pool. That's a lot of business words. Nacon stated last week that its situation required the rapid implementation of financial restructuring with its creditors in order to ensure the continuity of its operations. Today, it has announced that its available assets do not allow it to meet its due liabilities, and that as a result, the company will, as of today, file for insolvency with the court and request the opening of judicial reorganization proceedings. Designed to let Nacon assess all possible solutions to ensure the sustainability of the company's activity under the best possible conditions, protect employees, and preserve jobs while renegotiating with its creditors in a calm and constructive framework. It will enable the company to continue its business, renegotiate its debts, and develop a credible and effective continuation plan. Founded in 1981, is now part of Big Ben Group, which owns 76.7% of the company. Recent games include RoboCop Rogue City. We still have to play that game. Test Drive Unlimited, Solar Crown, Styx Blades of Greed, and Gear Club Unlimited 3. Publisher also planned to release Terminator Survivors, an open world Terminator game 2025, but confirmed late last year that had been delayed. Yep. They're teetering on the edge right now. I won't be surprised if this Terminator game gets canceled. This doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Next up, not exactly gaming related, but a fairly large story. Discord is maybe having some second thoughts about their verification process. Chris Culling VGC. Let's go right to it. Last year, Discord had added a new age verification system for some users in the UK and Australia that requires them to scan their face or ID to access sensitive material. It then announced earlier this month that it would be rolling out age verification globally in early March, which would require users to confirm their age before viewing certain Discord servers and channels. And everyone was up in arms about it. Rightfully so, because what are they doing? Trying to collect all of our personal information and face scans. What are they doing? What are you doing? But now in a blog post, co-founder and chief technology officer Stanislav Vishnevsky says the company is now delaying its global age verification rollout until the second half of 2026 as it addresses user concerns. One of the main reasons for the backlash was that not everyone realized that age verification would only be required for Discord servers tagged as adults only, as opposed to the entire service. The way this landed, many of you walked away thinking we're requiring face scans and IDs upon uploads from everyone just to use Discord. That's not what's happening. But the fact that so many people believe it tells us we failed at our most basic job, clearly explaining what we're doing and why. That's on us. Over 90% of users will never need to verify their age to continue using Discord exactly as they do today. Knowing that many of those who do need to verify their age will be automatically verified based on certain flags on their account. Most users never access age-restricted content or change their default safety settings. For those who do, we have an internal system that works to accurately determine your age. Discord already runs safety systems that catch spam rings, prevent raids, and detect coordinated abuse, powered by our rules engine, which we just open sourced as Osprey for other platforms to use. They did a little bit of clarifying, a little bit of self-reflecting, and a little bit of listening, it looks like. Hopefully, we come out of this with not having to switch off of Discord, because that would be ideal. That would be the ideal scenario. But we'll have to wait till the second half of this year. Next up, a little bit of a downer, and interesting that I couldn't find any follow-up on this on the site directly. Andy Robinson VGC. Games media set for more layoffs as IGN-owned Eurogamer cuts editorial staff. Could not find like any sort of different kind of article on Eurogamer, which is interesting. The beloved British publication, which was sold by former owner ReadPop in 2024 along with other Games Network brands, is facing at least its second round of editorial layoffs since joining IGN, VGC understands. That's understood to include the brand's most experienced editors and its entire 4-person video team, though at least one position will be transferred to IGN according to people with knowledge of the situation. Behind the camera cuts have also been made to the popular video channel Outside Xbox, VGC understands. The brand has more than 3.5 million subscribers across its channels and recently wrapped a UK stage tour. IGN Entertainment, which operates under Ziff Davis, acquired the Gamer Network group of brands and websites for an undisclosed sum in May 2024. Include renowned publications like GameIndustry.biz, Rock Paper Shotgun, VG247, and shares in Nintendo Life, Hookshot, and Outside Xbox. Since joining IGN, the Gamer Network brands have faced editorial upheaval due to a mix of layoffs, redeployment, and divestitures. Oh, man. Well, again, we use Eurogamer. I mean, not as much as VGC, but we do use Eurogamer a lot. Because these are the two sites that list, for when I'm going through things, they list everything way more concisely than other sites. Like, IGN has a lot of the same stories, but IGN also likes to post a lot of leaks and spoilers directly onto their website, and I don't like that. I don't like how IGN does that. They just blatantly post links. Just today, looking through things, they're like, hey, look at these new images from the new Tomb Raider movie. I'm like, why do I want to see that? Why would I want to spoil the Tomb Raider movie coming out like that? They're just posting set images. Like, I don't want to, and it's like an icon. That's like the front thing. It's not even like they're not hiding it. It's wild. They love doing that. I hate it. Anyway, but these two sites have been really easy to use. They make it super straightforward to find what you're looking for and list everything in a chronological order. And have it be relative to what you're looking for, too. Not all over the place. All right. Next up, getting a little bit of an upper of news. There was the Pokemon 30th anniversary event, and they finally announced the new mainline Pokemon game for next year. Pokemon Winds and Waves with new starters. They also announced here, starting now, just so you know, if you don't want to see anything about the new Pokemon, stop watching now, because I will probably show the new starters. So stop watching now if you don't want to see anything. Spoiler alert. we're gonna watch this trailer because this Pokemon game looks super fun. It's only like a cinematic CG trailer, but still. Why does it look like this? Why is it like full screen but not full screen? Hold on. This is so weird. Never seen this before. I'm changing the 3 minutes. Well, let's take a look at these starters. We're definitely, hopefully not gonna get. Like, let me skip through a little bit of this just in case. I don't want to get targeted. Whoa. Hey, the Pikachu! Look at the new Pikachus for winds and waves. Look at them. They got little outfits. They're on vacation. So they're saying that this is like in the like Pacific Islands region. But like Southern Pacific, like in the like Philippines area. Look at those waves. The water looks really good. This is a Switch 2 exclusive, by the way. Switch 2 exclusive. It looks, so far the scenery looks pretty dense, which I like. Like there's a lot going on in the background in terms of like textures. It's obviously going to run way better than Scarlet Violet did originally because it's on the Switch 2 directly. That windmill has all of the frames it needs. And here are the starters. I like the little green grass bird. I like that angry bird. You got the little Pomeranian dog, Fire. Brout. You got Pombon. And the little blue gecko guy, Gekwa. This is Gekwa. I want to see what their evolutions look like before I for sure pick one. But I'm liking that little angry bird. He looks like a lot of fun. Underwater paths. Whoa. Crazy. Wind and waves. Next year. Super exciting. I'm very, very excited about that. So new Pokemon game. They also showed off. I'm going to skip to this. It's not really a chat pick, but this smaller news. Because we're going to the smaller news anyway, so this is a good transition. They also showed off. But just to be clear, that's the end of the big news. We're moving on to smaller news. They also showed off this weird Pokemon music player thing. Where you get this little cartridge-based music player and you get like 45 cartridges, and you can change the music. It's so many physical things. It's so many physical things just to play some Pokemon music. There's a little Game Boy. And you turn it on and off. It's little pocket size. You change all the cartridges to different views. And you turn it on, and it just plays music. 45 songs, 45 cartridges. So each physical cartridge has a different song. So that's a lot. I don't think there's pricing or anything on this, but game music collection game box jukebox. One device, 45 cartridges. Damn. That's a lot of little things, little tiny piece of plastic. But you know, whatever. That's a little cute thing. All right, next up, continuing with small news. A little bit of an update on the future of Ubisoft games. Andy Robinson, VGC. Just a quick little update. They say they have a lot of Far Cry and Assassin's Creed games coming. New Variety interview with CEO Yves Guillemot discussed the company's recent restructuring, including its Tencent-backed subsidiary Vantage Studios, steward Assassin's Creed, and Far Cry going forward. We have a solid pipeline underway across Vantage Studios. Under the Assassin's Creed brand, several titles are in development, spanning both single-player and multiplayer experiences, with the ambition to further grow a community that exceeded 30 million players last year. On Far Cry, anticipation is high, and we currently have 2 very promising projects in development. Wow, 2 Far Crys? Okay. So that's our update for Ubisoft. They're coming out with probably like 6 games, and they're all either Far Cry or Assassin's Creed. Good luck. Next, one of the, or Hideki Kamiya says, if you spoil games, you should die 1,000 deaths. That's what he says. This is Chris Scully, VGC. So the Resident Evil 2 director, which hold on, let's just go into it. Known for series Bayonetta, Okami, and Beautiful Joe, started his career as system planner on the original 1996 Resident Evil before directing Resident Evil 2 and designing Resident Evil 0. Last week, Capcom asked players not to watch or share gameplay footage of Resident Evil Requiem circulating online. And then he says, I remember back on Biohazard 2, which is Resident Evil 2, I'm pretty sure its late game twist was completely spoiled by some weekly photo magazine too. For the sake of your own selfish satisfaction, you trample on the feelings of players eagerly awaiting the game and the creators who poured their hearts into making it. It's a despicable act that destroys everyone's happiness. You deserve to die 1,000 deaths. May you be cursed to never play games again. Wow. Some strong words. Some strong words. That's so funny. But yeah, don't spoil games. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Come on now. Next up, The Witcher. The new Witcher 4 gets one of the cinematic animators from E33. Chris Cullen VGC. Lucy Hennett worked at Sandfall Interactive from May 2023 to the end of 2024 as a cinematic animator, where she refined the raw motion capture by improving the body and facial animations. During my time at Sandfall Interactive, my main responsibilities included cleaning up and refining body and motion capture, as well as managing data from XSense to UE5. I also provided support on the motion capture sessions and contributed to building the animation pipeline for the cinematics. And now, Hennett has moved from France to Poland, where this month she joined CD Projekt Red in Warsaw on an on-site cinematic animator. So, it seems as though Witcher 4 is still deep into production. If they're just hiring new animators, it might be another year or so before we see anything about Witcher 4 in terms of gameplay. So that means it's still pretty far ahead. Maybe next year, maybe early next year, maybe late this year we see something, another trailer next year comes out. But that's cool because obviously E33 very good. We will get back to playing it very soon. But it's gonna be interesting to see if there's any similarities in the animation styles. All right, and that's it because we just did the last of the small news. Some chat picks. We got a larger list of chat picks today. A couple that we had to skip last week. There's an 8-bit version of Morrowind. This is Joshua Wollens, PC gamer. This 8-bit Morrowind from someone with no experience with game making will run on your actual Game Boy Color and is generally kind of great. Today's Morrowind news is this. Someone's making a version for the Game Boy. Not someone made a Game Boy style recreation. Someone is actually going through the trouble of making a cut down Morrowind so you can run on a literal Nintendo Game Boy Color. It's a free bite-sized Morrowind experience made in GB Studio. It was actually made some time ago, but it got a refresh update yesterday that brought it to my attention, and now I'm bringing it to yours. Look at it. That's some Game Boy Color gameplay right there. That's cool. Nice little treat. If I had a Game Boy Color, I'd probably try it. Cause I feel like I'd want to do it. I wonder if there's a way to port that onto your phone. That'd be cool. Next up, we've got a little bit of an update from Problematic Ashes of Creation. This is Alessio Palumbo, WCCF Tech. Alleged founder orchestrated $140 million fraud. So this goes, if I remember this correctly, I read it days ago. One of the investors goes through and is like, this dude was really just siphoning money the whole time and not really investing anything. That Steven Seraph never invested a penny of his own money into Intrepid Studios, despite publicly claiming to have contributed between $30 million and $60 million over the years. Not only did Seraph fail to invest personal capital despite claims on the contrary, but he and his partner John Moore, who was listed as the company's chief financial officer, systematically withdrew $500,000 a year in salary for themselves. It's a pretty long read, but it's super interesting and informative because they also like stole money from this old couple, like their entire life savings. Where is it? Yeah, beyond the staggering financial losses, the human toll is immeasurable. As mentioned earlier, Tom and Bethany Alcazin, now in their 70s, lost their $2 million life savings and face financial problems they'll likely never come back from. That's crazy. He basically stole $2 million from that couple because telling them to invest. This is the guy that talked about it. So again, go through this if you want to hear more about it. This is more of the ins and outs, not so much any like official update from any like legal process, but just like what this guy's insider knowledge, because he's at the forefront of this too. He's one of the forefronters So this is super interesting and like awful. This dude seems like a piece of shit. Anyway, next up, did you know that Rivals has a throwing bounty website, or did? I think it got shut down, right? According to this. Canned Maldonado Dexerdo. Marvel Rivals players call for a shutdown of site paying players to throw matches. Marvel Rivals already struggles with players deliberately throwing ranked matches, and a recent $40,000 Creator Cup poured gasoline on that tension. I wonder what happened during that $40,000 Creator Cup tournament. Interesting. Players can post bounties on players who intentionally throw games to claim cash rewards. However, players can also queue into a ranked match, intentionally throw, submit video proof, and collect 80% of the posted reward through PayPal. Wow. Before going offline for maintenance, the platform displayed multiple active bounties. One of the largest targeted Twitch streamer, Lucky Zeal, the #2 Spider-Man player in North America, had a $40 reward tied to sabotaging his games. And it was then called out. That's crazy. That people care so much about these games that they are gonna pay money to other people to throw them. So as it says here, where does it say? It's not punishing throwers because they don't care about their points. It's just punishing everyone else by adding even more throws, because that's what it's doing. It's not making, it's just making the problem worse, because there's already throwers, right? There's already throwers, but now because they're offering money, there's gonna be more people throwing. There's gonna be more people throwing. That's wild that people care that much. Get a life. Next up, we got a new Diablo clone from makers of Diablo. Actually, almost done. New online co-op Steam game was made by the original Diablo developers. This is Charming Holiday. That's the person's name. Game Rant. What an interesting name. His name is also like a verb. Or an adverb. Moonbeast Productions, a team comprised of former Diablo and Diablo 2 developers, has officially launched its first playable demo for Darkhaven, a brand new OARPG that blends similar themes from powerhouse titles in the genre with a unique procedurally generated open world design that sets up diverse gameplay experiences between solo adventures and co-op excursions. That was a long sentence. Slated for a full launch exclusively for PC via Steam, Darkhaven promises to introduce players to a realm unlike any other, dark fantasy, gothic setting, and emphasize dynamic environments. Is there a trailer that we can... There it is. Okay. Let's watch the reveal trailer. I don't know if we've seen this before. It's very loud. Hold on. That's my bad. I don't know why this player is so loud. Yeah, they don't like full screen, yeah. I have this on 1080 and it doesn't look great. I mean, this looks okay. You can jump, which is weird. Traversal. Oh, you can break things. Okay, this is interesting. There's definitely more mechanics than your average Diablo. And swimming, yeah. So the traversal is much more expanded. Okay. You gotta do Nikki Lady. You gotta do Nikki Lady. It just seems a little tame in the action so far. What the fuck? Doing a lot of running around. It's like watered down Diablo with more running around. I don't know. It looks okay. But it's weird that they showed a lot of running around and not a lot of like big fights. But hey, it's made from the people that made Diablo, which is cool. Next, Valve now has another loot box problem. This is James Peckham, PC Mag. So Valve is being sued by New York for its use of loot boxes, claiming that loot box system enables gambling habits and are particularly harmful for young people. We've heard this story before, but we're going after Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, and Team Fortress 2. Hey, watch out, you Dota 2 players in chat. Wants the video game developer to stop using loot boxes in its titles and pay fines for previously promoting them. Notes that Counter-Strike 2's loot box system resembles a slot machine featuring a spinning wheel that reveals a virtual item. Loot boxes are common online titles, acting as randomized treasure chests that may provide valuable in-game items. That doesn't sound correct. It explains that valuable items found in loot boxes can be sold on Valve's Steam Community Market and other third-party stores. We may or may not have seen someone that we know do a lot of Counter-Strike 2 loot boxing. We may or may not have seen that. Illegal gambling can be harmful and lead to serious addiction problems, especially for our young people. Valve has made billions of dollars by letting children and adults alike illegally gamble for a chance to win valuable virtual prizes. They're technically not valuable because they're virtual prizes. They don't mean anything. It's just codes. At any moment, they could delete them. Like, the developer can delete all that shit. Oof. All right, and last up, we're going to go over a few Highguard stuff. A few Highguard things. There's several update stories on Highguard. Some of this was chat pick, some of this was what I found, so we mixed them all together for the end. This is Callum Patterson. Dexerto. Alright, Tencent has pulled funding from Highguard developer Wildlight Entertainment just weeks after the shooter's launch, leaving fewer than 20 developers still working on the live service title. Oh! The funding has been pulled from the developer. According to a report from Bloomberg, the studio laid off most of its roughly 100-person team in February after failing to hit player retention targets, reportedly set by the game's secret backer Tencent. Tencent sucks. The free-to-play shooter, which launched on January 26th, quickly lost around 90% of its players within a week after peaking around at nearly 100,000 concurrent players on Steam. Dropped to a recent low of 254 concurrent players as of like a week ago. On February 11th, just over 2 weeks after launch, Wildlight told staff in a meeting that the studio was out of money and that most of the team would be laid off, receiving a small severance package. Oh. Tencent had pulled its financial backing, and now they're up a creek. Now they're up a creek. We'll go over our thoughts about this at the end, and then a little bit of a background on Highguard. Robert Perchese, Eurogamer, started life as a survival shooter and Tencent pulled funding 2 weeks after. Yeah. A new report into what went wrong with the multiplayer shooter Highguard. Did I paste this in here? I don't think so. The multiplayer shooter Highguard has revealed that Tencent allegedly pulled funding from the studio 2 weeks after game's loss. We just talked about this. Tencent's role in Highguard's development was, curiously, kept quiet. It wasn't until several days after the layoffs that GameFile confirmed Tencent's involvement. The reason for the secrecy around the company's involvement is unclear, given its foundational role in Wildlight. Had it not been for the significant amount of funding Wildlight reportedly received from Tencent, it likely would have been able to hire the team that made Highguard. Huh. But what went wrong with Highguard? Bloomberg sketched a picture of development by talking to 10 former Wildlight employees, and the game apparently started as a survival shooter, similar to Rust, partly to avoid the crowded competitive shooter area it eventually ended up in. What a surprise. 2 years of development went towards achieving this survival idea until Wildlight realized it wasn't working and pivoted. 2 years into development, they shifted from a survival shooter. It resulted in some of the things we still see in the game now, such as the mining for Vesper currency. Interesting. It's been curious this whole time why there's a weird mining aspect in this action team-based shooter game. It seems to just wastes out valuable time when you're trying to like race against the clock. And even base rating, these things were salvaged. Perhaps it's because of the Metal's origins were left with a game with an overly dense and complicated core. Highguard is a base rating game where you upgrade equipment and use siege weaponry and hero powers while also fighting other players. So it's a mash of a few different ideas. How did nobody notice this unfavorable complexity in the lead up to launch? Highguard was apparently extensively tested, both internally and externally, according to the Bloomberg report. But the conditions for the testing were ideal. Or weren't ideal? Internal testers already knew the game. Oh, the testing was ideal. That's why we were talking about how all these people were like, this game is not going to fail. There's one project that couldn't go under, it's your game. Internal testers already knew the game, so the complexity wasn't an issue, and controlled testing groups used voice comms. which is a subtle but meaningful difference to how casual players play. That's true. It'd probably be almost impossible for someone to solo queue in that game and get a good team. The idea of open testing was raised, but Wildlight leadership apparently nixed it. They wanted to recreate what had worked with Apex Legends, which had been kept secret until it was announced and launched at the same time. But the difference with Apex Legends is that's very straightforward. Apex is very straightforward in terms of like what to do when you're playing the game. Unfortunate, but we have one more follow-up on this. There's even more issues coming from, I think it's from one of the developers or ex-developers. Yeah, level designer. This is Vicky Blake, Eurogamer. A level designer laid off from Highguard developer Wildlight believes the free-to-play shooter's difficulties stem from having leaned too far into the competitive scene. Acknowledging that the really big spotlight placed on the game following its reveal at the Game Awards additionally added pressure, senior level designer Alex Grainer talked candidly on the Quad Damage podcast about the constantly evolving game, suggesting that his biggest fear came when the studio decided to go full in on 3v3. Woof. I can only speak to my side of it as a level designer, but when I joined Wildlight, it was trying to figure out this new ambitious game, and this team is always pushing the boundaries. You don't strive to create something that doesn't work out, but it happens, unfortunately. Throughout development, we really leaned into the competitive side of it, and that was always one of my biggest fears as a player. 3v3 duos is always the sweatiest version of anything, like Battle Royale, objective modes, wingman, you know it, you name it. It requires such a high intensity of communication with your team and team play that it doesn't leave much room for casualness. I think that was the biggest thing that turned a lot of players off Highguard. It's almost exactly what we said, where it was like it needs more players. As soon as we started playing it, we said it needs more players. Grainer said Apex Legends came just as a battle royale, were kind of an up-and-coming mode and was really easy to understand after you played one game. Exactly. Which is why it was so successful. Highguard was a little more complex. Highguard has all these different rules and stages. It's like, oh, you want to loot? Now we've got to chase this objective. Now we have to plant this objective. Now it's overtime. It has all these rules, which I think works at a really high level, but when players are first coming in, it's a lot to grasp. On top of all that, because it was 3v3, that kind of game just requires high skill movement and shooting, which is already a pretty high bar to entry as well. So if you just have a few bad games or your teammates aren't sticking together, you're just going to get rolled, and it's very hard to 1v2 in our game. That's true. That is very true. It's almost impossible. It's all designed to be a team-based shooter. I think that was the biggest thing. People just kind of turned it off because they didn't have the team. Yeah. And then it goes into the stats of the layoffs. So all the things basically that we've been saying since launch, when we've been trying it on our stream, is basically what happened. And it's all been true. So I don't know how much longer Highguard is going to last. I don't understand what they thought was going to happen when they released the game as a exclusive 3v3. The 5v5 or the 4v4. Was it 5? Is it 5v5? I think it's 5v5. Whatever the higher team amount version of it was miles better. There was a little it wasn't as unforgiving as it is 3v3. Because 3v3, you lose one person, that's it. Like, at least in the other version of it, one person going down isn't that much. You could still recover from that. 3v3, it's really tough to come back in those 3v3 fights when already down. Again, it's fun to play. It's very complicated. It's a little rushed in the gameplay as well. You don't really get time to, like, actually loot like how you would want to. And there's not really a lot of overall looting. Maybe somehow, whatever, because they're coming out with a new game mode, which is just fighting. Yeah, even if it came out as 4v4, it would have been more distinct. Just, like, I don't understand. These games, in general, I don't know why they feel they need to release without maximizing the amount of people to play. Like, 3v3, that's 6 people in a server. If you do 5v5, that's 10 people in your server. Why wouldn't you want more people playing at the same time? Why would you want it to be less people? It doesn't make any sense. And then you worry about player base. Have more people playing together. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. Oh man, they just never learn. Last one. We're doing the dev dub now, gamers. It's a little kind of a mini dev dub. Nothing too crazy, but apparently Radical Games has been resurrected. Chris calling VGC. Simpsons hit and run and prototype studio Radical Entertainment is back as new Radical Games. They're back. Founded in 1991 as Radical Entertainment, acquired by Vivendi 2005 and by Activision 2008, and the 2013 studio has essentially closed in all but name, with the Canadian government dissolving its incorporate status and the few remaining staff assisting on other Activision projects. Developed titles as Penny Arcade Adventures and Death Spank. Moving on to mobile games, went bankrupt in late 2024. Now, however, both studios appear to have been resurrected as new Radical games, with Ian Wilkinson as CEO and president, and Tim Bennison as COO. Wilkinson. Okay, see, there's Wilkinson here and then Wilkinson here. I don't know which one. I'm gonna say it's Wilkinson because I see that more. Was one of Radical Entertainment's co-founders after the company was sold to Vivendi. He left Radical in 2008. Bennison was previously a COO and studio director at Capcom Vancouver. Studio is open for work for full hire game development on mobile or console games. Also says willing to co-develop with another studio or to handle porting or remastering of an existing title. Simpsons hit and run and prototype. People have been waiting for this to get remastered or released for a long time. People have been wanting this game to come back. So hell yeah, that's the dev dub. They're back, and we'll see what they release. Hopefully they don't shut down immediately, because again, in a world of everyone shutting down, it's very rare for new things to pop up. But GG's to them. Hell yeah. And now with that, we're finally done. Gaming news. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Check out the links in the chat. YouTube, Twitter, Discord, TikTok. I'm gonna try best to get this up tomorrow. But now we're gonna move on to some Resident Evil. We're gonna continue that for as long as we can. But that's it for me for this week. Peace out.